Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I don't even know. It's all going together. I'm traveling this week. I straight up looked at my computer at the clock in the top corner of my computer 25 minutes ago, or I guess 30 minutes ago now, and had a conniption because I was halfway through editing a video and didn't realize it was already 3 o'clock. So sorry, my bad that we're a few minutes late. Not only are all the days running together, all the time is running together in Isabel world. As you can tell, if you were watching yesterday versus tuning in today, we're at a little bit of a different angle. We've got some different lighting situations going on that we are playing with, but overall really upping the value of the stream by getting some new equipment, getting some new exciting stuff happening here in the studio, aka the spare bedroom of my apartment, and upping our strategies on YouTube and Rumble and everything else as well. So it's a really exciting week for me. Lots and lots of hard work behind the scenes that you guys aren't seeing, hence why we're a little bit late yesterday and today. I will try my absolute best to be on time for the rest of the week. I promise, with the exception of tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that here in just a bit because we're doing a little bit of a different stream tomorrow. All of that to be said, I'm really excited to be back live with you guys for another awesome stream this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, and lots of exciting stuff to come that I can't formally announce to you guys quite yet, but a lot on the horizon that you soon will be fully aware of if all goes according to plan. I want to say hello to all of our new people, but first you have to say hello to us so I know who you are and where you are watching from. So go ahead and drop all of that in the chat. I know we have a lot of new viewers lately, so I will just say up front, the chat is the easiest way that we are all able to interact with each other in real time, which is the whole point of live streaming in real time and doing this in an authentic and unscripted way without too much pre-scripted stuff or rewritten stuff. You know, we just try to be as authentic as humanly possible here on the stream and build a real sense of community from every single corner of the globe with all of you guys tuning in all the way around the world, which is awesome. So let us know who you are, where you're watching from, especially if you are new, over in the chat. And as we are getting started, do me a huge favor and hit the like button. That could be a thumbs up for some of you. That could be a heart for some of you, as well as ring the little notification bell to make sure you are always aware of when we are going live or uploading a new video. And most importantly, smash that follow or subscribe button on whatever platform you are watching on right now. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Getter, and of course to our locals family as well. And we want you guys to be a part of all of the action no matter where you are watching. The best way to do that is to make sure you hit follow or subscribe and help us build this amazing small grassroots community out of the spare bedroom of my apartment and all across the world with every passing stream. As we get started and as I'm saying hi to you guys, I also want to say hello and a major thank you to one of 2 sponsors of the stream today, our amazing friends over at Public Square. I talk about them all the time, and I know you guys ask me this every single time. They are coming internationally soon, so that is very exciting. Don't tune out if you guys don't live in America today. This also matters for you because it's coming to you very soon. Public Square is currently an American network of 65,000 plus small businesses, all of which are reliably pro-life, pro-family, and pro-freedom. They share your values, and you never have to question that. So if you're looking for different companies to start supporting for everything from the clothes that you're wearing to the food that you're eating and who helps you do your taxes or anything else, this is the place you need to go check out. You can also add your business to Public Square if you are a business owner, and I know a lot of you guys have already done that and seen so much growth of your small business and your profits in the community that you are making. So check out publicsq.com. You can use the link that I just dropped in our live chat, or download the Public Square app onto your phone, which is the easiest way to use it. That's how I use Public Square, on the App Store or on Google Play. If you are looking for some exciting changes to make in your life, Public Square is so great and we absolutely love them. All right, let's say hello to some people starting over on YouTube. As always, Alexandra is first up in our chat saying Oliver Anthony is the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so I know I'm a little bit late to the game. This is really embarrassing, but I've seen clips of the song everywhere on social media, especially on TikTok more than anywhere else. I've seen his picture pretty much everywhere with a lot of my friends and the people that I work with in the social media space, but I have yet to hear the full song. So we are going to be doing a full live, for the very first time ever, in-person reaction to Richmond, north of Richmond, here in just a second, which I'm very excited about. So Alexandra, stay tuned. I hope that I will agree he is the gift that keeps on giving. He seems really freaking awesome, and I would love to have him on the stream at some point after the week that he's had. We've got Sribhov, I want to make sure I'm saying that right, watching on YouTube. Marnus is here. Ace and Marky are watching. Chess is watching. We've got G-Fact, Mighty, Tito, and the Fredster and Kobe on the YouTube chat. Jonathan and Dutch Canadian and Nintendo fan are here saying Libby should take over the stream for a day. Libby is currently curled up on my couch right over there, the other side of the stream. I told you a lot of updates are coming to the home studio. I know you guys have been asking for a corgi cam. We will be working on that, okay? Tito, thank you so much for your donation in our super chat. I appreciate it. So a corgi cam is coming, I promise. I just have to figure out the best way to do that because she doesn't really sit still very much. But right now she is so freaking cute on the couch on the other side of the studio, making my soul melt in half. So maybe we will do a Libby takeover for the stream and you can just listen to her breathe because it's a really fun thing to do. Take it from me, I do it every day. Jake is watching from Australia. Ambreen is watching. Way Up Dude says, I want to dance with somebody. It's a good vibe to be in. Mighty, Emily, Amplified Truth, Matthew, and so many others on YouTube. Thank you guys for being here. Over on Rumble, where we've seen lots and lots of growth this week. We love to see it. Heath, John, and the Glock fanboy are watching. The Getter chat is in full force. Nitty Witty, always kicking us off right at the beginning, Nitty Witty. We love to see it, and thank you for being such a longtime supporter of the stream. Since we've been doing this for like over a year now, not every single day. That started in September, which is very rapidly approaching, but crazy to me that it has been almost a year of streaming, and we have so much more to do and so many more things we want to accomplish. But Nitty Witty, you have been here from the beginning, so we love you, Nitty Witty. Thank you. Nasty Nikki is watching. Olive and Dog Lover. Dog Lover, you're across the pond in the UK. We love our UK friends. Thank you for being here. And locals as well. I see Emrock, Alex, Mountain Lover. We've got African Warlord. Sabina is back. All of you guys, I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you are ready for a great stream, a great conversation, a great reaction. Okay, so overview of what we're going to talk about today. I think today is going to be a little bit of a longer stream because it involves some real-time math and breaking down inflation. You guys know me. I am not a math person one bit whatsoever, but I did do some of this math already, so we don't have to do all of it in real time. I'm pulling up some things that we are going to need, but I saw this term on TikTok that like totally blew my mind, and I couldn't quite possibly understand what people were talking about until I started doing a little bit more research under the surface. And that's what it's going to take for all of us as well, because nobody in the mainstream media is talking about this. Nobody in our political system in America is talking about this, from either the Republican or the Democrat side, by the way. Especially our president of the United States is not talking about this. I am only seeing this brought up in isolation on TikTok. So side note, just another feather in the cap of Isabel was right all along, that the only good information that is breaking free from the system of the mainstream media and our political systems is coming from where? Where? I'm just saying, why do they want to ban it so much? Because we know that it doesn't have to do with China. I'm just saying. And interestingly, this is the only place that I have found this new term that I am seeing everywhere on TikTok this week, called the silent depression. I had never heard this before, but I think it's really, really interesting. They're making the argument on TikTok that we are not just living through another recession. We aren't just living through a difficult period in our United States economy today. We are actually living through worse than the Great Depression, and different from the Great Depression when we were all aware of how bad the economy was. In America today, we are living through a silent depression, meaning not only is it worse than the Great Depression, nobody is talking about it. Nobody in the mainstream media, none of our politicians, neither of the two major political parties. We are dealing with a media and information blackout with how difficult it has been to survive in America. So we're going to be talking about that towards the latter half of the stream and unpacking exactly what that means, because it's one thing to just say that and it's another thing to prove it when we start looking at wages and the cost of living. But I personally am just completely shocked that it is true. Like, this claim that we are living through a worse economic period than Americans were living through in 1930 at the height of the Great Depression is a very, very real reality. And I think it is just unbelievably crazy. So we're going to be breaking down all of that. But first, also something that blew up thanks to TikTok, favorite social media platform. I really hope we can start streaming over there at some point, because that is ultimately the best platform, in my opinion, at this current moment in time. I know we're not streaming on there right now, but it's the easiest way to get the attention of the most people possible. So we eventually will try to move the stream over there as well and encompass some of those people over there. But thanks to TikTok, I see independent musicians blow up all the time. And it's not just unique to this song. Essentially, the need for record labels and the need for music representation companies has become a bit obsolete. And I don't know if you guys have seen this as well, chat, so let me know of some other examples that you may have seen in the stream. But to be a trending song today, it's not just about getting on the radio, it's about getting the attention of people on TikTok. To become the next major artist and get to go on tour, it's not about signing with a record label anymore or moving to Nashville or Los Angeles or New York City. It's about blowing up on TikTok and garnering tens of millions of views and millions of followers and independently organizing your own tour. I've had my friend Spencer Crandall on some content that I have made in the past, who is a completely independent musician. He grew up in Colorado. I had met him once during college when I saw a show that he played in Fort Collins, and now he has millions upon millions of followers on TikTok and is totally making a name for himself in the country music space. Olivia Rodrigo would not be who Olivia Rodrigo is today if it were not for TikTok, right? That's just not even a realm of possibility. And in the last few days, we have seen this out of absolutely nowhere country bluegrass guy, Oliver Anthony, become the latest viral music sensation on TikTok specifically. He's a really interesting looking guy. He's got this big red beard and he lives out way in the sticks in the Appalachian Mountains, and he plays the guitar with such a beautiful sense of authenticity. This song that's going super viral called Richmond, North of Richmond, had never really been debuted before. He has never put out music super formally before. He certainly doesn't have a deal with a record label or millions of downloads or streams of his songs prior to this particular song we are about to react to. He's just a hardworking, working class guy from the American country, from what it means to live in a small town in the United States of America. And he wrote this song that is so profoundly moving that people from every walk of life in the United States today, people who live in big cities and small towns, people of varying races and religions and ethnic backgrounds and political values and geographic locations and everything you can possibly imagine, everyone is finding a part of this song that they seem to be resonating with. And I have seen video after video after video of people reacting to this song on their live streams or on their social media or on their podcast or whatever, and they post this to TikTok, and almost everybody cries. I'm a crier, so I anticipate I probably will cry watching this video for the first time. Bear with me, it's fine. Again, I haven't heard the song in totality yet. I've only seen little clips here and there, and I've tried really hard not to watch it because I knew that I wanted to do a stream about it when I saw how the media was reacting. But people are finding this sense of home in this song and finding an opportunity to resonate with these lyrics that are so raw, they are so authentic, and they're telling the story of just how messed up and upside down and backwards our current culture in the United States of America has become. Since putting this song out 13 days ago on social media, it is the #1 trending song on YouTube for music, as you're about to see when we live react to this video. It is the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. It has amassed millions upon millions, tens of millions of downloads and streams on Spotify and Apple Music, and he has immediately become a celebrity overnight, which I'm sure is an exceptionally bizarre feeling for someone who can't experience what that looks like over the long term, right? He didn't sign a record label. He didn't slowly amass all these followers on social media. It happened like almost instantaneously from a working class guy from the countryside in America. So he has spoken out on his Facebook page, which we'll look at after we react to the song, about what that experience has been like for him in amassing just like overnight fame and success, which is only possible in America, but how he is emotionally dealing with all of that, which I think is really powerful. And I think there's nowhere to go but up in his career, in his opportunity to reach people. But this song tells such an exceptionally unique story and special story that in America, anybody can create something simply because you have the dream to do it and the drive to do it and the passion to do it that can resonate with the whole world and can almost instantaneously change or impact culture overnight. And that doesn't necessarily have to look like music. That could be an invention. That could be a business that you start. That could be a speech that you give. Think about the great speeches and the great orators throughout American history, but it certainly can be music as well. And I think it is really, really, really powerful for us to see this happening in real time with just an ordinary guy who is being completely engulfed and enveloped in the embrace of the American people who share all of the same feelings that he is having. How cool to know that you wrote this song just expressing your experience, and tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people around the world are listening to it thinking, wow, I feel exactly the same way. So with that, I think we should just live react to it. I don't know what you guys think. I'm going to need to pause and analyze things and listen to lyrics. I am a lyrics girly. It's why I really love Taylor Swift lyrics. It's fine. Don't come at me. I am a Swiftie. But I love lyrics in songs. And I think the storytelling in music is such a lost art today when everything is just hyper digitized, and EDM music is often much more heralded as successful or pop or trendy or whatever than really good songwriting. It's why I love the Beatles and why I love Elvis. Really good songwriting goes all the way back throughout history, and I think we're starting to see little glimpses of that come back with certain artists. Taylor Swift obviously comes to mind. Morgan Wallen is an unbelievably talented songwriter, and he has some really incredible, profound lyrics, and I think we are seeing this exact same thing right now with Oliver Anthony, the new musician on the block in the United States of America. So we're watching Radio West Virginia's YouTube channel here. This video was posted 13 days ago. So again, I'm a little late to the game. That's fine. We acknowledge it. It's good. I'm still relevant. Okay. Posted 13 days ago, and it has amassed, as you can see, 33 million views in the last 13 days. This is the #1 song for trending music on YouTube, and the Radio West Virginia account says this: when I first came across Oliver Anthony and his music, I was blown away, to say the least. He had a whole collection of songs that I could listen to for hours. He resides in Farmville, Virginia, with his 3 dogs and a plot of land he plans on turning into a small farm to raise livestock, which sounds like literal heaven on earth to me. We have a whole mess of songs to release of Oliver for your viewing and listening pleasure. Yes, so it doesn't have to stop here. He is truly special and notes his biggest influence as Hank Williams Jr. That totally came through for me in terms of his influence on music and from music. With the clips of this song that I've seen, I got Willie Nelson, Hank Williams Jr. vibes. So that makes total sense to me. Oliver wants to give hope to the working class and your average hardworking young man who may have lost hope in the grind of trying to get by. And in case it's not totally obvious to you yet, the title Rich Men North of Richmond is very clearly about wealthy politicians in Washington, D.C. Because if you look at a map, what's directly north of Richmond? It's Washington, D.C. All right. Shall we do this? I'm nervous. We've never live reacted to a song before. It's fine. We're going to do it. I might need to pause it to evaluate some lyrics, and we'll go with it. This is a first time thing on the stream. So get excited. Drop your thoughts in the chat. Let us know your favorite lyrics in the chat. Okay. Whew. Here we go. I gotta take it all in. I'm nervous. Oh no. Hang on. I gotta make one adjustment. I gotta make one adjustment for our sound. And I want to make sure it all comes through. So hang on 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Ready? Are we ready? I gotta rewind. Let's go.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to. For people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is.
Okay. First, I just gotta stop. Love the melody, love the music, love the guitar. That is so simple, so beautiful. The range is amazing. Okay. Whew. This is really good so far.
In the new world, with an whole soul,
Damn.
Cause the rich men know the rich men.
I am deceased. This is so good. Should we like rewind that part and listen to it again? We're going to do it. Why not? It's my stream. We'll do what we want. Let's just take two.
It's a damn shame.
This is so
what
good.
the world's gotten to.
True.
For people like me, people like you, wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is.
Facts.
Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul.
That line alone, living in the new world with an old soul. Oh. Like, I would have never said it that way. I'm like literally crying. I'm a crier, okay? Just don't come at me. I cry at commercials of dogs. I'm crying how cute my dog is right there. Stop judging me. That line, I would have never said it that way. I would have never vocalized it that way, but that's exactly how I feel. Everybody feels that way that watches this stream, right? We talk about that all the time, that we have these traditional values and these stories that go throughout human history that we're trying to emulate today, but it feels broken because our new world, our progressive world, our upside down world doesn't let us do that. Wow.
These rich men know the rich men, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Facts.
Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do.
Facts.
And they don't think you know, but I know that you do.
Yep.
'Cause your dollar ain't shit.
Facts.
And it's taxed to no end.
Facts.
The rich men, know the rich men.
Oh, that guitar. That's beautiful.
I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got...
Did he actually just say that? Did he actually just say that, chat? Am I hallucinating? Did he actually just say, I wish politicians would look out for minors and not just minors on an island somewhere? And it works for both ways the word is spelled, I guess. I wish politicians would look out for kids, and I also wish politicians would look out for minors of our resources. Rewind, take two. There's no way he actually just said that in real life. Wait, hang on. I didn't go back far enough. I didn't go back far enough. Okay, here we go.
I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere.
He actually said that. I love this man. I want to be his best friend. I hope he doesn't get, he's fine. He's happy. He doesn't want to unalive himself, people.
Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300.
What did he say there? The whole beast milking welfare? I don't think that's what he actually said. I think that's the YouTube captions getting it wrong. Chat, do you know? Do you know what it is? I think it's obese. I think he said we have the obese milking welfare. We'll rewind it a second.
Welfare.
Oh,
God, if
gosh,
you're
I never rewind far enough.
got nothing to eat, and the obese milking
I hear
welfare.
obese.
Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what
Chills.
the world's got
Oh my
to.
gosh.
For people like me, people like you, wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is.
But it is.
Oh, it is living in the new world
I cry.
with an whole soul. These rich men know the rich men.
Wow.
Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end.
I'm like literally about to start sobbing. It's fine.
The rich men.
What a beautiful musician.
I've been selling my soul, working all day,
A dog.
overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Ugh! I am deceased. I'm deceased. I have died and passed away. How is this real? That was amazing. Wow. 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 I'm just Alexandra says if we watch the lyric video, the song hits harder. We'll have to do that after the stream. I'll go watch that. But I wanted to watch him sing it and watch him play the guitar. I am floored, honestly. It's remarkable to me when people are able to encapsulate the soul and the heart of a nation that is so underrepresented or just completely misrepresented in all of the appropriate ways where we should be represented. Like the fact that this song is number 1 on the Billboard charts days after it came out from a guy that nobody had ever heard of before because of TikTok largely speaks volumes to me. We're not feeling represented in social media. We're not feeling represented in entertainment media. We're not feeling represented in news media or informative media. We're not feeling represented by our politicians. We're not feeling represented by our progressive churches. We're not even feeling represented by our communities. Everything is a facade. Everything is a lie, trying to keep up with this never-ending hamster wheel of progressive, which is actually regressive, crap in society. While meanwhile, hundreds of millions of people aren't making enough money to survive. They're being told that their values are evil when they're trying to help their communities, help their families, or help themselves. We're not feeding the millions of people on the street without a home in the midst of the worst homelessness crisis that our country has ever seen. We don't give 2 craps about the greatest mental health crisis the world has ever seen with our generation. We don't care that we have record anxiety, depression, wanting to unalive yourself, substance abuse. We don't care that every single teenager, relatively speaking, is addicted to pornography. We don't care that Gen Z actually had our brain structure altered. They're doing studies on youth, but I'm sure everyone has had their brain structure altered because of how much we were changed, how much our society changed during lockdowns a few years ago. People have lost their businesses, they've lost their homes, they've lost their families. And this song just like cuts through all of it, because while you're trying to make all of that work, while you're trying to just do the baseline to survive, you still want to do the right thing. You still are trying to bring morality and truth back into the midst of that brokenness. And you're doing that as an old soul in the new world. And that is just, that cuts deep. Oh my word, that song was good. Immediately adds to Spotify playlist. We'll be binging that over and over and over and over and over again tomorrow on my airplane. So that'll be very fun. And that'll easily probably be in my Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year. So excited for that. Let's see what you guys have to think, because I'm shocked. Chat, do you love the song? Have you heard it before? Most of you guys already had. But I was just late to the game, and I will fully admit that. So I think this is really interesting. Dutch Canadian has said the views on that video have doubled since you watched it last week. Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm sure it's just going to keep doubling over and over and over again. It is the #1 song on YouTube, so it's getting like recommended to people at this point now, which will be really, really interesting. Alexandra says, my favorite line is, I wish politicians would care about minors and not just minors on an island somewhere. Can we just acknowledge that this man actually said that in real life? Like, he actually made that a lyric in his song. And whether it's about minors as children or minors making sure that we have all of the resources to develop all of the crap for our world to function properly, our politicians don't care about either. But they do have some thoughts, not the right thoughts, about minors on an island somewhere. That's interesting to think about. Oh man, that is a really powerful line. King David wants to see Libby on the stream. We will have the corgi cam. You might have missed it, King David, right at the beginning of the stream. I'm working on the corgi cam. It is coming to you very, very soon. We're not quite there yet, but she is sleeping on the couch right over there. I know African Warlord said over on Locals that they had to show the dog at the end of the song because it's not a country song if there isn't a dog. Facts. And I also hope that this song makes more people appreciate authentic country music, because authentic country music is this. It is a guy with a guitar. It is the storytelling from the heartland of the United States of America. It's telling stories of real people and just authentic rawness, and I love it. Most people, unfortunately, see country music as like Florida Georgia Line and drinking beer. And I like Florida Georgia Line. Don't get me wrong. I actually really like them. But I think we look at like a Luke Bryan song and we think like, yeah, that's country. That's like country with a K. It's not the origins of country music. Bluegrass country is. And I love seeing Morgan Wallen move more in the like acoustic bluegrass direction. The triple album that he just put out moved much more in that direction. It's why I love Noah Kahan, by the way. He's not country, obviously, but just like that bluegrass authentic acoustic feeling. Oh, that will just always be the best music. We absolutely love it. Dutch Canadian says it is the obese milking welfare. Okay, that is what I heard. So the YouTube captions just got it wrong, but also facts. Damn, this guy is just going. Emily says, I can't believe I hadn't heard this until right now. Crying face. That was amazing. Yeah, I can't believe I also had missed hearing the whole song until right now. Alexandra, I did see that video where he sang this live at a farmer's market in North Carolina. He had like 60 people go watch him the week before, and there were like 6,000 people at a farmer's market in North Carolina who went to go see him this week. People flew from other states to go watch him sing, which is really, really unbelievably crazy. Yeah, Michael, I know on Rumble I'm really late to the game. Everybody has heard this song but me. I don't know. I'm a busy girl. I'm trying to do everything all at the exact same time. Glock Fanboy says, I love this song. Great tune. John says, I have loved Oliver Anthony's song. I want to see what you guys think over on Getter. Let's see. Nitty Witty says, I think the agents are probably watching this stream. If you are my FBI agent watching this stream, hello. I hope you are handsome, because otherwise, what is all of this for? What was the whole point at the end of the day? And they know that you know, but they don't want you to know that you know. That they want to know everything that you think and do, etc. Nitty Witty also says, no wonder why the authoritarians don't like this stuff. Yeah, you're not wrong. Sabina on Locals says this is the best song in the last decade. Mountain Lover says goated. Crazy Cat Lady, I'm absolutely going to look up his other songs. They probably are really amazing if this one is absolutely powerful and incredible that way. Emrock says this song stings with the truth. I so hope people who are making this number one help to change this country. I love that, because I don't think it can stop as just the number one song and sweeping the nation and have our attention span for like 5 seconds, right? If we really want to make a change based on what these lyrics mean, we have to take it beyond just listening to a song and take these lyrics for what they truly mean. I think it's really, really powerful. Alex says, if he was signed to a record label, this song would never see the light of day, which is very true. And that's where I want to segue into. If he was signed to a record label and went through getting into the music industry the traditional way, or like the prescribed pathway for success, you're right. This song never would have seen the light of day. And that's what's really powerful about independent media, right? We talk all about that from the lens of news and information and having countercultural conversations and conspiracy theories and all kinds of stuff that we talk about on this extremely independent stream. And when I say independent media, I'm not even talking about nonprofits or smaller media companies or any of the above. I'm talking about creators, people who make something beautiful, whether that be content or reaction videos or skits or comedy or music, who aren't owned by anybody. People doing this out of their house or their backyard or on a stage in the middle of the woods like this guy was doing. You're able to say things when it's just you and you're not being paid by somebody else to say it that are truly, deeply authentic from the very, very center of your heart. And that is why I am so passionate about doing this stream, free from a media company, free from being paid for by anybody, free from anybody telling me what I have to say or what I need to plug or whatever. Obviously, we have sponsors that help make these streams possible, and that's the way that I'm able to like make a living and pay my rent and do all of this for you guys. But I never, ever, ever want to produce a major show ever again that's owned by someone else. Like I have no interest in that, because you're able to be true to yourself, true to your values, and true to objective reality and truth itself when you aren't being paid off by someone and you can just get it out there yourself. That's the beauty of grassroots social media and independent media in general. Like this song blew up largely because of ordinary people just like you and me resonating with it and sharing it, reposting videos about it, liking videos about it. You guys laugh every time I tell you to like a video or hit follow or subscribe, but like genuinely that this is the outcome of that. This amazing Cinderella story that is blowing people away is because ordinary people decided to do that because they found something that they resonated with in the process, which is so beautiful. So he becomes like an overnight success. Oliver Anthony does. Alex, I know you want to get him on the stream. I too would love to see him on the stream. I don't have a contact for him quite yet, but we will be reaching out as soon as I do because he has such an interesting story. And I'm sure he's being bombarded with other media requests, so I'm not sure he would see our request. But let's see what he has to say about this entire process because it was really, really profound. And I saw screenshots of this on TikTok as well. Over on Facebook, he posted this 5 days ago, and this is his like official account. Facebook says they can guarantee that this profile is authentic. So this is Oliver Anthony telling us how he feels about his song being the #1 song in America. It's been difficult as I browse through the 50,000 plus messages and emails I've received in the last week. Oh my gosh, that's overwhelming. The stories that have been shared paint a brutally honest picture. Unaliving yourself. I can't say that word on YouTube right now, which sucks, but you guys can read it yourself. Addiction, unemployment, anxiety and depression, hopelessness, and the list goes on. I'm sitting in such a weird place in my life right now. I never wanted to be a full-time musician, much less sit at the top of the iTunes charts. Draven from Radio West Virginia and I filmed these tunes on my land with the hope that it may hit 300,000 views. As you guys saw, this video is currently sitting at 33 million views. I still don't quite believe what has gone on since we uploaded that. It's just strange to me. People in the music industry give me blank stares when I brush off $8 million offers. I don't want 6 tour buses, 15 tractor trailers, and a jet. I don't want to play stadium shows. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I wrote the music I wrote because I was suffering from mental health and depression. These songs have connected with millions of people on such a deep level because they're being sung by someone feeling the words in the very moment they were being sung. No editing, no agent, no bullshit. Just some idiot and his guitar. The style of music that we never should have gotten away from in the first place. I'm gonna cry reading this too. This is just like, thank you. Thank you. Oh, so that being said, I have never taken the time to tell you who I actually am. Here's a formal introduction. My legal name is Christopher Anthony Lunsford. My grandfather was Oliver Anthony, and Oliver Anthony music is a dedication not only to him, but 1930s. Remember that date. We're going to come back to that. Appalachia, tomato, all of you guys living in the region, you let me know. Where he was born and raised. Dirt floors, 7 kids, hard times. At this point, I will gladly go by Oliver because everyone knows me as such, but my friends and family still call me Chris. You can decide for yourself. Either is fine. This guy's so chill. I love him. In 2010, I dropped out of high school at age 17. I have a GED from Spruce Pine, North Carolina. I worked multiple plant jobs in Western North Carolina, my last being at the paper mill in McDowell County. I worked third shift 6 days a week for $14.50 an hour in a living hell. That sounds awful. In 2013, I had a bad fall at work and I fractured my skull. It forced me to move back home to Virginia. Due to complications from the injury, it took me 6 months or so before I could work again. From 2014 until just a few days ago, I've worked outside sales in the industrial manufacturing world. My job has taken me all over Virginia and into the Carolinas, getting to know tens of thousands of other blue-collar workers on job sites and in factories. I've spent all day, every day, for the last 10 years hearing the same story. People are so damn tired of being neglected, divided, and manipulated. Can I get an amen for that? I feel like I'm in church. We love this. In 2019, I paid $97,000 for the property that he lives on. That would be nice. And still owe about $60,000 on it. I'm living in a 27-foot camper with a tarp on the roof that I got off of Craigslist for $750. There's nothing special about me. That's not true, but very humble. We love a humble king. I am not a good musician. Also not true. We love a humble king. I'm not a very good person. I've spent the last 5 years struggling with mental health and using alcohol to drown it. I'm sad to see the world in the state it's in with everyone fighting with each other. I've spent many nights feeling hopeless that the greatest country on earth is quickly fading away. That being said, I hate the way that the internet has divided all of us. The internet is a parasite that infects the minds of humans and has their way with them. Hours wasted, goals forgotten, loved ones sitting in houses with each other, distracted all day by technology made by the hands of other poor souls in sweatshops in a foreign land. Ooh, this guy should write books too, and poems. When is enough enough? When are we going to fight for what is right again? Millions have died protecting the liberties we have. Freedom of speech is such a precious gift. Never in world history had the world has the freedom that it currently does. Don't let them take it away from you. Just like those once wandering in the desert, we have lost our way from God and have let false idols distract us and divide us. It's a damn shame. My soul. Oh my gosh, those are all just facts. Okay, so he writes this song about bringing people together, about his frustration with division and anger and hatred and the fact that we have lost our way. Instantly, it resonates with everyone. They posted that one video on YouTube, not even on his own channel, but from Radio West Virginia, with the hope that it might get 300,000 views. And it has now, that video in isolation, amassed 33 million plus views and continuing to grow with reposts of that song and reactions to that song. I mean, it would be impossible for us to like fully calculate the impact of how many people have seen this video and watched parts of this song all the way over the internet. Obviously, we can calculate specifically where it's falling in the music world. It is number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 songs charts, announced yesterday. So far, it has drawn 17.5 million streams and sold 147,000 downloads in the week ending Thursday. This to me is actually really important data because I think a lot of the times when we look at like, oh, this super countercultural song is changing the world and is getting all of this excitement, it's like number 1 on the iTunes store where people are still buying music. Nobody buys music anymore. So if I see something that's number 1 on the Billboard charts, I am wildly impressed. And that to me means you're actually making a difference. It's getting streamed on Spotify. It's getting streamed on Apple Music. It's getting streamed through YouTube and through social media. People are downloading the song. If you're number 1 on the iTunes store, I don't truly really believe that you are making the biggest impact, but being number 1 on the Billboard charts is to me a very clear indication that you have changed music as we know it. And sadly, despite all of the really positive reaction videos that I've seen and people on TikTok from every walk of life, like I just mentioned, different races and ethnicities, different religions, different political values, different states, people from all over this country have found something to resonate with in this song because they're frustrated with the state of division and anger and hatred in our country, which has nothing to do with politics. Kind of like how a few weeks ago, we all went to go see a movie about child you-know-what trafficking that had nothing to do with politics and kids losing their lives because of unbelievably depraved, violent, horrible people being sheltered by corrupt individuals in the government and many other confounding problems of the sex trafficking and human trafficking industry. We spent a lot of time talking about the impact of Sound of Freedom and the insane media backlash to it a few weeks ago on the stream if you missed that. Just like the media decided to make that a crazy right-wing conspiracy saying that child sex trafficking wasn't happening, even though it had nothing to do with politics whatsoever, to want to protect kids from people who literally want to sexually abuse and kill these children. Rolling Stone is back at it again. They had a horrible article about Sound of Freedom and they had to make one about this song as well, trying to make this song about politics, which is missing the point entirely. But they had to just get under the skin again and again. Right-wing influencers, they say, just found their favorite new country song. In what part of this insanely long statement did he at all say anything about politics? Anything? No. In fact, what he says is, I hate the way the internet has divided all of us. I hate the fact that our liberties, who have been protected by millions of people who died for us, are under attack. I hate it. I'm in a weird place in my life right now. Other people are resonating with this because of the things we are all experiencing. Addiction, unemployment, anxiety, depression, hopelessness, lack of faith, etc. What part of that has anything to do with partisan politics? Anything? I mean, I'll wait. Any guesses, chat? I'm pretty sure crickets are just going to be the only appropriate response to that because there is no logical response to any of that. They say right-wing influencers just found their favorite new country song in Richmond, north of Richmond. A singing farmer in Virginia blasts high taxes and obese people on welfare and even appears to allude to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think he alluded. I think he just said it, to be honest with you. There's our guy. You have to subscribe to read the whole thing, but let's just read what we can. Right-wing influencers are losing their minds over a new country song that just appeared on streaming services. Richmond, north of Richmond is a passionate screed against the state of the country, sung by Oliver Anthony, who identifies as a farmer living off the grid. He's not a farmer living off the grid. He has to identify as a farmer living off the grid. I can't. In Farmville, Virginia, with his 3 dogs. In a video Anthony posted to YouTube earlier this month, he says he started writing songs in 2021 after he wasted a lot of nights getting high and getting drunk. Again, not anything having to do with politics whatsoever. I don't know about you. I really don't have any sort of desire whatsoever to subscribe to Rolling Stone and pay them $3.99 a month. So I guess we'll have to miss the spectacular response that they are trying to use to make this all about right versus left and continue dividing us through the internet, which I'm pretty sure was the whole point of this song. I hate the way that the internet has divided all of us. The internet is a parasite that infects the minds of humans. Hours wasted, goals forgotten, etc. That's just, we love a little dose of irony in all of that. Don't we? Alex says no logic found on Rolling Stone anyway, so we don't really need to read the entire article. But do you guys see this pattern here that we've observed with independent media, an independent film studio that was crowdfunded from ordinary people, an independent song that is being boosted in the Billboard Hot 100 and all over social media and on the radio because of ordinary people resonating with it and wanting to share a story that's compelling and beautiful and thought-provoking and touches base with our emotions instead of just continuing to go along with everything they're feeding to us. I'm just seeing a pattern here where the powerful media entities that be and the people who benefit from them, the rich men north of Richmond, I suppose, seem to have this viscerally angry, irrational, illogical response every single time one of these films and one of these songs and one of these videos goes super viral, right? They almost just can't wrap their head around the fact that ordinary people are seeing right through their bullshit and we are choosing to be done with it. We're choosing to stand for individual liberties. We're choosing to want to have faith in something bigger than our brokenness because we're all struggling with anxiety and depression and everything else. We're choosing to ask the hard questions about what kind of behavior our politicians are truly engaging in. We want answers, and we're not going to accept anything less than the truth when it comes to these questions that we are dedicated to asking. And I think that that's really unbelievably profound. I think that that's really powerful, and it just goes to show when they have that sort of visceral reaction, they're probably scared for a reason. They probably know that you're on to something. They probably know that the questions that you are asking don't lead to the best answers and don't paint them in the best light. So should absolutely be the questions that we are asking. Speaking of questions that we should be asking, Are you going to be listening to that song every day? That's not the one I want to ask you, but I too will be listening to that song every day. It's just so good. I'm still thinking about every single one of those lines. That was absolutely incredible. Speaking of questions we really should be asking, though, we're going to segue into our next point. I want us all to start asking about this term called the silent depression. 2023. Okay. The silent depression is this new term that I'm seeing all over social media, namely TikTok. And it's really getting me thinking about what else the powers that be, the Richmond, north of Richmond, are hiding. The things that they are going out of their way to make sure that we are unaware of what's happening. I guess it's tinfoil hat time. Not just from a cultural perspective, but also from an economic perspective. We live in a time right now where our president of the United States says that we live in the greatest economy America has ever known, that we're experiencing record low unemployment. We're experiencing record low on inflation. We're experiencing record high job growth, more jobs created by this president than anything else in any chapter of America's past in the history books from any other presidential administration. America is strong. The economy is strong. And you hear this repeated almost minute by minute, but certainly daily on the social media accounts of the president of the United States, which blows my mind because I think the average person in America, and if you're watching from abroad, you might not truly resonate with this, but it's interesting to check out. And I'm curious if this is happening from your country's perspective too. When you feel the average daily American day-to-day life, you understand we certainly are not living in the greatest economy that America has ever known. We remember just a few years ago when things were so much better that we could afford groceries, we could afford gas, we could afford entertainment, we could afford to take our family on a vacation, and we genuinely cannot experience that today. So we're confused and we're unaware of what's really going on, but we're only being told this singular narrative that the economy is strong, that we are experiencing job growth, that inflation is down, that unemployment is down, and we should just be grateful for all of the wonderful things that are happening. And here's a cool photoshopped graph on my Instagram as @POTUS telling you and reinforcing everything looks really, really great. To the contrary, people on TikTok are starting to do the math to discover that we are not living in a strong economy. We are living in a silent depression, which is essentially like the Great Depression, but truly is a silent one in that not only do we have, adjusted for inflation, lower wages and a higher cost of living than the Great Depression, no one is talking about it. So if you haven't heard these facts and figures before, I'm not surprised. It's because nobody's making you aware of them. The media is not covering this. No politicians from either side of the political aisle, from the Democrat Party or the Republican Party, are bringing attention to this. No major nonprofits are talking about this. Like, it's just ordinary people doing the math, which isn't incredibly difficult. There are computer programs to help us do this, to figure out just how bad things have gotten, and are dedicated to asking these big questions for themselves. And this started for me seeing a video comparing average annual income in 1930, the height of the Great Depression, versus average annual income today in 2023 America. So we're going to start there, then we're going to move into the cost of living and cost of goods and services. But it's really unbelievably crazy what is going on right now in the midst of this silent depression, and more people need to be aware of exactly where we are at. So if you look up the net yearly income for Americans in 1930, keep in mind, 1930 is the height of the Great Depression. The Great Depression, from an American perspective, is easily what we would consider to be the worst chapter of the American economy ever. This was the bottom of the barrel. We are never going back there again. We have never even remotely come close to that again, according to most economists or most history textbooks or most high school history teachers in the public education system. This was the bottom of the barrel that we've never, ever replicated ever since. The average net yearly income for Americans in 1930 was about $4,800, almost $4,900. $4,887, which sounds like absolutely nothing. Could you imagine bringing $4,000 home? I mean, that's just completely unfeasible, right? But if we adjust this for inflation, let's do a little copy paste with this bad boy. From 1930 to 2023, $4,887 in 1930 for annual income is worth almost $85,000 today. adjusted for inflation. So the average annual income, if everything was the exact same baseline, the floor of the cost of living and where we are at in terms of inflation and the value of our money today, the average, if everything stayed on par from 1930, the height of the Great Depression, the bottom of the barrel, the average annual income should look like about $85,000. Does it? Spoiler alert, you guys probably already know the answer to that. No, it does not. In fact, today, the average yearly income in the United States is about $57,000. If it had been consistent with 1930, the height of the Great Depression, it would be at $85,000. $85,000. But instead, our average annual income for Americans today, this is all for an individual, not for a household, is $57,000. Now, I realize you can't just look at income as a baseline for how healthy the economy is and whether or not the economy is successful. So I think we should also open this inquiry up to the cost of goods and services, the cost of living ultimately, right? Because if we can compare the cost of living and the cost of how much it was to buy something with that average income of what today would be $85,000 in 1930, it's worth us asking, are we really living in the strongest economy in American history, or are we actually living in more squalor on average than the Great Depression? Prepare to be absolutely shocked when we start doing this inflation adjustment and start asking these questions. Newsweek magazine published this in December 2021, that way back then, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, Americans were freaking out on the internet about finding out how much things cost in the middle of the Great Depression. We had baffled the internet. Debate is always raging over the cost of living. They say this week, as Americans grapple with rising inflation under the Biden administration, a Reddit community has been boggling at a breakdown of living costs from 1938. This image was posted from a book that was published in the later 1930s into the 1940s about the cost of living in 1938, which was actually pretty standard to 1930. So we're just going to apply this across the board. Frankly, I'll even redo my assessment here of inflation and the calculator back to 1938 if you guys want, but generally it was about the same, starting in 1929 when the Great Depression started all the way through the 1940s. This was absolutely insane in the middle of the Great Depression. This was completely unfeasible for most people to buy new things. People were out of work. The Dust Bowl had ravaged Middle America and the agricultural communities. People were fleeing in droves to states like California. If you haven't studied the Great Depression much, Dutch Canadian, thank you so much for your donation. We really appreciate it. And Dan, thank you so much for your donation from Sweden. Appreciate you so much. So people were out of work, they were out of options, and they were on borrowed time, essentially. They had no way of affording any of these things in 1930. This was an astronomical cost, according to the inflation adjustment and what they were making every single day. So a new car, we'll start there. A new car in 1930, roughly, 1938, but in the 1930s, was about $860, which at that time would have been almost impossible to buy. The average person could never afford something like that. It's just not even remotely a possibility. In 1930, that being $860, adjusted for today's inflation, the average cost of a new car would be about $15,000, 15 grand. Do you guys know how much the cost of a new car is today? Average cost of a new car in America today, featuring data from Kelley Blue Book, is $48,000. What would have been during the Great Depression $15,000 on an $85,000 salary is now $48,000 on a $57,000 salary. Good luck buying a new car in 2023 America. Not even remotely a possibility, whereas it could have been remotely a possibility in the midst of the Great Depression. Or once you've even bought that car, let's talk about filling it up. The average cost of gas in the 1930s was 10 cents a gallon. So let's adjust that for inflation. 10 cents a gallon adjusted for inflation from 1930 would be about $1.73. If you haven't filled up your car lately, it certainly is not $1.73. It got darn close, really close. under President Trump. Actually, it got lower than that under President Trump in a few places. I think in Kentucky it was less than $1 a gallon for a really quick blip on the radar. And we had this for like a minute in America in the last few years. But as of late, no, not even remotely close to $1.73. $3.55 a gallon is the average cost of gasoline to fill up your car in the United States of America today in 2023. What about if you wanted to send your kid to Harvard? If you were one of the luckiest of the lucky who were unbelievably smart and was accepted to, at that time, the most prestigious institution, one of, on the face of the planet, to further your academic endeavors, which was not universal. Not every single person went to college in the 1930s, even really more recently than the 1930s. Not everybody has gone to college, right? That was never like a universal right that people assumed that they needed to be successful. It was never as accessible as it is right now in the 2020s and with our generation, where everybody is expected to go get your 4-year degree from a 4-year university in order to get that piece of paper in order to be successful. In 1930, it would have cost you a whopping $420 a year to send your kid to Harvard University. Let's do the adjustment. $420 adjusted for inflation would be about $7,000 a year in tuition to attend Harvard University in 1930. Anybody want to take a guess, chat, at how expensive Harvard University tuition alone is? Not room and board, not living expenses, not books. Tuition alone. Anybody want to take a guess? Michael on Rumble says, oh, you're talking about cars. Cars was $39,000. Yeah, that's about right. Anybody want to take a guess at Harvard? Just tuition, not room and board. Locals, you think Harvard is pretty darn expensive. You're shooting it through the roof. Tito says 15 million. I mean, it might as well be, because in 2023, the tuition bill annually, this is 1 year, 1 year of tuition, not room and board, is $54,000 for what should have been $7,000 in the middle of the Great Depression with higher wages. Interesting. I always feel like I'm that Miranda Cosgrove meme where iCarly's sitting in front. I think it was actually Drake and Josh. It was the Drake and Josh era where Megan is sitting in front of her computer with her tea, just going like, interesting. Every time I find this stuff out, like, how is no one talking about this? This blows my mind. It is just so unbelievably crazy to me that nobody is bringing up the silent depression. How about the most quintessential aspect of the American dream? Being able to buy a home for yourself, a house for yourself, to put your family in a home, to put your spouse in a home. Like, building or buying a house with the white picket fence was the ideal of the American dream. You have truly made it if you can buy a house. A new house in the 1930s was about $3,900. Let's do the adjustment, shall we? $3,900 adjusted for inflation in 1930 is a little under $70,000. $70,000. $70,000. Maybe it's just me because I spend way too much time on Zillow. So I guess I'm not hugely surprised by this. America average home price. I got to pull this up for you. This is actually crazy. I spend way too much time on Zillow, so maybe I'm not like completely shocked by this. I know how bad things have actually gotten, and we're not even talking about mortgage rates and interest and all of that stuff, which is absolutely asinine and not even remotely possible for someone our age to even consider buying a house, because you would just put yourself in financial ruin. What should be $70,000 on a salary of what? 85 grand. Today, the average cost of a home across the country, so it also depends on what state you live in, is $416,000 on an annual average salary of 57 grand. Hawaii, good luck if you live in Hawaii, is the most expensive state to buy a house with a median home value of almost $1 million. median, middle of the road, for a country where the average annual salary is $57,000 a year. Alex just dropped the dog in the burning house meme. This is fine. Yeah. I mean, genuinely, how are none of us talking about this? How is it possible that we live in a country where we have lower wages and a higher cost of living today in 2023 while we're being gaslit by our president, by the Federal Reserve, by the Commerce Secretary, by every single person parking their butt in a seat on Capitol Hill, all of the rich men north of Richmond, telling us, gaslighting us that we live in the strongest economy ever known to the United States of America? Why is not a single mainstream journalist, not one from any major national media company, at least that I'm aware of, doing the math? That took us what, 15 minutes? 10 minutes. It took us about 10 minutes to do all of that, to adjust things for inflation, to just Google shit. Why is no mainstream media journalist doing that? Why is no one trying to uncover the fact that we are living in literally worse than the Great Depression? I feel like I am talking to a toxic ex-boyfriend that, like, with the proverbial they are the toxic ex-boyfriend, where they just gaslight you over and over and over again, and they treat you like crap, but they never actually see it themselves because they are clinically narcissist and they think that they are perfect. And then they have their toxic mom like telling them, oh, you're perfect, sweetie. Everything's perfect. Your girlfriend's just crazy. We're the crazy girlfriend, but the crazy girlfriend is usually right, I feel like. And all the toxic boyfriend figures, our politicians, our media, our entertainment industry, the people coding the algorithms for this stuff, not one of them is it even asking the question, hey, how's the economy really doing for average people? Hey, how does the cost of goods and services and wages today compare to the Great Depression? Pretty simple question to ask. I don't feel like that's rocket science. I am not an economy person one bit, never took an econ class, don't even remotely understand how the economy works. It's fine. Nobody in my generation does, so don't consider me stupid for that. My lack of financial literacy is the fault of the United States education system and not myself. I've tried to teach myself a million times. I was never good at math, numbers, and or economic questions. However, if I can figure this out, why are our chief economists telling us everything's great? Everything's rosy. You're going to be great. We bounced back. We built back better, baby. What is that? So, yeah, I think we are living in a silent depression. Sadly, nobody's going to tell you that. You have to go figure that out for yourself. Sadly, the news is never going to cover that. Instead, they're just going to cover the exact same talking points every single time that our former president gets indicted, which is important to cover. That's important news, but like dedicating 24/7, 365 on it on the air because it generates ratings instead of telling people how their current day-to-day life is in the toilet. I don't know. Probably not the best decision, but maybe that's a really spicy hot take. Your politicians aren't going to tell you that. They're going to say, everything's rosy, everything's great, everything's fantastic. I am paving Washington, D.C. with streets of gold, and you need to reelect me because nobody else is able to do that but me. Stop buying into it. None of you really are. You're wise enough to be asking the questions yourselves. That's why you're watching this stream and listening to this music and going out of your way to think independently to break free of the system. But there are people who still buy into it. There are people who are so uncomfortable asking the questions that they will never have the opportunity to think about this stuff logically or critically. They just don't want to know. Being intentionally, willfully ignorant is not an option anymore. You think it's bad today? You think we're being gaslit today, saying we live in the strongest economy ever when really we're living in an economy that is worse than the Great Depression? Think of how much worse it's going to get when we blindly keep going, okay. When we blindly say, we trust you, we believe you. I don't think so. Not an option for me anyway. You guys, I love you so very much. We have one more sponsor to thank on the stream today, and that is our amazing friends over at Ruff Greens. You guys know how much I love my doggy. We're working on the Corgi Cam to bring to you very soon on the stream. Libby is my best friend in the entire world, and we have tried a new doggy supplement called Ruff Greens, which is an all-natural human-grade supplement for your dog's food to help improve their energy, their joint nutrition and health, their digestion, their immune function, etc. You basically just take a scoop, it's like a protein powder, and you put it on top of your dog's food, and it provides 19 plus fruits and vegetables to your current dog food. It adds digestive enzymes, probiotics, and omega oils to their diet that's probably missing from what they're eating right now, especially if you're feeding your dog like a dry kibble diet, which we don't do anymore. I have a lot of suggestions for that as well. When Ruff Greens sent us a package to try, Libby literally could not stop whining at all of the treats. She wants it all the time. She's obsessed with the supplement in her dinner and all the snacks. She just perked up and opened her eyes hearing me say TREATS. That's so funny. She has a lot more energy. Her coat is shinier, and she's overall a happier dog since taking Ruff Greens. And you guys know how much I love my dog. I would never tell you to give your dog something that I wouldn't use on my own pet and or that isn't working for us. You can grab your Ruff Greens at the link that I am dropping in the live chat right now. Try ruffgreens.com. Your dog deserves the best, and so do you. We're going to be jumping over to locals right now for our post-stream Q&A. And just to give you a really quick announcement, tomorrow on the stream, we're going to be streaming at a different time. I don't have a specific time for you quite yet because my travel schedule is still a little bit up in the air, but I am traveling to Wisconsin to attend the first Republican debate tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. It's an opportunity that I certainly haven't had in the past to sit in the audience for a presidential primary debate for either political party. So I am very, very excited about it. Gonna be a blast to be there, but I will be traveling on a plane during our normal streaming time. So we'll have a different streaming time tomorrow. I will keep you all updated in like the community tab or on other social media platforms when we are going to be streaming tomorrow, and we would love to see you guys all there. Before you go, please join us over on Locals and click that link. But secondly, and more importantly, grab that follow or subscribe button with your mouse and ferociously click follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're watching on right now, on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Getter, and or Locals. You guys are already here. You don't really need to follow, but same thing. It means the world to me that you guys are helping to get this message out there and impact so many people who desperately need to hear the truth and a countercultural narrative today, now more than ever. If any of you have any idea how we can get the man, the myth, the legend, Oliver Anthony on the stream, we would love to see it and are really excited to see you guys continue to grow this community in the best way possible. Be good people. Tell the truth. I love you so very much. YouTube, Facebook, Getter, Rumble. We'll see you tomorrow at a time soon to be announced. Locals, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Bye, guys.